Hello, Selwyn. Lovely to have you with us.
Hi.
Hello, Anna. Hello, Lauren. Nice to be with you both.
Firstly, we want to ask, can you tell us a little bit about Give Better?
Yes, I can. And I'm glad you asked because I love talking about Give Better. Let me ask you both a couple of questions to get started. So,
Ooh.
would you like to give and save more? Because good. my sense is that we all would want to give and save more if we could, but obviously it's not that easy. You know, money doesn't grow on trees. But the question that kind of animates Give Better is, what if we actually could give and save more than we thought possible? And in fact, what if that was not only possible, but easy and fun? So that sounds very fairy tale-ish. So let me tell a story. Anna, I've known you for a while. I know you like your coffees with friends. So let's say you're at a cafe with a friend, and you're about to buy a panini and a latte, and then you remember that you're doing the Give Better challenge. So what does that mean? That means that you pause before you purchase, and you think, and you ask yourself, what will truly bring me the most joy? So on asking that question, you realize that actually you really, really do want that latte. So you buy it and you enjoy it for all it's worth. But the panini, well, you might realize that actually you're not fussed about the panini. You're a bit sort of meh. And you might realize that actually there's a lot more joy in giving and saving that amount instead. So the panini was going to be $8, say. You get out your Give Better app and you plug in $8. And then according to your ratio between giving and saving, let's say it's 50-50, $4 goes to your savings and $4 to your favorite charity. So the idea is that the panini would have been good, but this is even better. This is far better. So that's a super simple way to repurpose what you would have spent towards giving and saving. And that's the heart of Give Better.
Cool. I love, with that example, how it can be just integrated in your everyday life and really easy and accessible to be using.
Yeah.
And it definitely makes people think a lot more about like what they're doing, because sometimes you would have a coffee a day and you could just make that coffee at work instead, or you could, there's loads of different options, which is quite
cool. Exactly. And that's the thing, is that you might ask, what difference does $4 make? But actually Give Better is basically an invitation to sort of go through your life and think, maybe there are these moments here and there, and I'm just not realizing them. And the cool thing is, imagine if that scenario that I mentioned before, then it was, played out all across the country with thousands of people. And then it's not just $4. You've suddenly got, maybe people buying one less drink while they're out with their mates, or maybe they decide to take breakfast to work rather than getting the Eggs Benny every day, or and it's not just the kind of wining and dining type stuff. It could be maybe you've got a gym membership that you don't actually go to, or some subscription that you don't actually use. So there's all sorts of things, and $10 here, $5 here, but the money actually really quickly adds up to quite a powerful movement of generosity. So just to kind of put a little bit of numbers on that, so we did a couple of pilots, and it's not unrealistic at all for people to repurpose about $30 over a month. So 1,000 people join in, that's 30,000 repurposed from spending to giving and saving in just that 1 month.
Awesome. So you sort of covered that there already, but what would you say your ethos of giving, which underpins the app, is?
Yeah, so what you might think is that, going back to your story, Anna, that what I'm really saying is, you shouldn't have enjoyed that latte at all. You should have
like white.
you should have given it instead to City Mission or some other good cause. And that's not what we're saying. We're encouraging, we really do mean this, people to ask that question, what will bring me the most joy? Because Give Better actually is meant to be about an adventure of freedom and joy, not sort of guilt tripping. It's not shaming. And so going back to that phrase, Give Better being a movement of people learning to give more, save more, and save in the moment, that last piece actually really matters to us. So going back to your scenario, Anna, you're there and you think, actually, I've thought about it. I really do want that flat white or that latte or whatever. And if you buy it, what we want is actually for you to savor that coffee for all it's worth. Whereas previously, if you're anything like me, I often make kind of impulsive decisions and then not really enjoy what I've just bought. We actually want people to pause and be present to their purchases and really enjoy it. Or on the flip side, if you realize you're not fussed about a particular thing, you actually don't want what you were going to buy, you were just sort of doing it unconsciously, well then actually the science would suggest there's a lot greater joy in the saving, but in particular in the giving. So either way, you're savoring the moment, and either way, Give Better is something that's better for the world because of the impact, but also better for you as well.
Awesome. So could you tell us a little bit more about the journey of Give Better and what motivated you to make this happen?
Yeah, it's a good question, because what I don't want people to think is that I'm any kind of a financial expert, because I'm not. And the reality is actually quite the contrary, and this sort of explains why I'm so passionate about Give Better. So I'm not great at all with budgets and financial planning, and as I've alluded to before, actually quite prone myself to sort of impulsive buying, and that's fine. It's the point is not to kind of beat myself up about that or anything, but what it means is that Give Better is a journey that I've been on personally, and so when I say that it's possible to kind of grow, to give more, save more, and learn to save at the moment, that's been my story. So it kind of really begins when I went to university, and through some part-time work and through government money, you have more money coming in, and that was kind of the first time that I'd really handled money in any significant way, and I had I guess more opportunities to spend it as well. And everyone's sort of experience at university is different, but certainly for me, what I found is that I hadn't necessarily thought through how I was going to spend that money. I just sort of did it. So during those heady days, could have easily spent sort of $80 a week at a cafe, and I had subscriptions I never used, and an expensive gym membership, and all those kind of things. And maybe the most hilarious is I've always been a big reader, and I had a sort of a problem with binge buying Kindle books. So you're reading a book, and I would read lots of nonfiction, and with just a couple of clicks, you can very easily buy another book, and then you're suddenly overwhelmed by all the books you've got no time to read. But the point is that I was missing out on both joy and impact, and I slowly began to realize that. So as I said before, I began to see that a lot of that spending was mindless and unsatisfying, but also sometimes it was just because there was a bit of admin I needed to do to realize that I wasn't going to the gym, and I had this expensive gym membership, but I couldn't be bothered doing anything about it. And what I lacked was a kind of motivation. So what the idea of Give Better unlocked for me was that actually my mindless, unsatisfying spending could be repurposed into something amazing, which is generosity to great causes. And I started to do that. I started to take my card off my Kindle, so I could only buy one a month, and then I would work out what I was saving and give a portion of that, or I would go to a cheaper phone plan and give some of that, and that was actually really exciting. And I loved that journey, and it was fantastic for the kind of financial stress and for just feeling more in control of my money, but also there was that awesome kind of joy of knowing that I was making an impact with that money. So Give Better basically was me thinking, how could I create something that allowed others to be invited into that same journey. And very gratefully, others sort of saw that vision and pitched in, and others who had skills that I didn't have, and we've kind of grown from there.
And obviously the world has been changing a lot over the time in which you've been working on this app. So what do you see the role of Give Better in this COVID world and then beyond?
Yeah. No, obviously the world has changed a lot, and not least in terms of money and in that whole area of our lives. I think actually it's more important now. So in a few ways. Well, one important way is that invitation to a kind of financial mindfulness. So there's maybe never been a more important time to pause before you purchase and think, actually, maybe some of this money should go to savings, saving for better days, and maybe I can do a bit as well to give back to some of the great charities that are doing awesome things to support communities in need. And the great thing is that you can choose your ratio between giving and saving. So if you're in a patch where actually saving is super important, then make that the priority. If you're in a position where you actually really want to kind of support the Auckland City Missions and the Youth Lines of the world that are helping communities at this time, then you can do that. But I think for anybody, that idea of moving from a place of more financial anxiety to that kind of mindfulness is super important, and perhaps never more so than now.